Hello and welcome. I'm Emma, and today Max and I are here to talk about something we know a lot of you want to know: how to learn English faster. Right, Max?
Absolutely, Emma. Learning English can sometimes feel slow or difficult, but there are ways to make it faster and even fun. We'll share tips, ideas, and ways to practice every day, even if you only have a few minutes. So, where do we start?
Great question. I think we should begin with a big one: setting simple, clear goals. When you start learning, having a clear goal really helps. For example, you might say, I want to learn 5 new English words every day. That's small, it's doable, and it feels good when you reach it.
Yes, and when you have that small goal, you'll notice progress much faster. I also like the idea of practicing those words in real-life situations, like saying them out loud or using them in sentences. Practicing makes it stick better.
Exactly, Max. And using the words you learn in sentences is a great way to remember them. You can try saying a sentence with each new word at least 3 times. This helps your brain keep the words. Also, it doesn't have to be formal. Even simple sentences like, I am happy today with the word happy make a difference.
That's so true, Emma, and while we're on this, another good tip is listen, listen, listen. Listening is one of the quickest ways to pick up English. You could listen to English songs, podcasts, or even short videos. Just 5 to 10 minutes of listening can make a huge impact over time.
Yes, and what I love about listening is that you also learn the natural way people speak, which helps with understanding and even with pronunciation. For example, if you listen to a podcast, you hear real people speaking. It's great practice to catch how words flow together.
Definitely, and when you're listening, try to repeat some of the phrases out loud. Repeating can help you improve your speaking skills and help with pronunciation too. Don't worry about being perfect, just try to sound similar to what you hear.
Exactly, it doesn't have to be perfect at all. I also think it helps to speak slowly at first. When we're learning something new, we might feel like we need to speak fast, but in reality, speaking slowly is better. It gives you time to think about the words, and it helps you feel confident.
And speaking of confidence, here's a fun one: don't be afraid of mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes when they learn something new. Think of mistakes as your friends showing you what you need to work on. If you say the wrong word or use the wrong tense, it's okay. Each mistake is part of learning.
Absolutely, Max. Mistakes help you grow, and that's something we all go through. Plus, when you're relaxed and okay with mistakes, you'll enjoy learning more. Another helpful thing is to practice every day, even for just a little bit. It could be something like reading 1 page of a book, listening to a podcast, or even chatting with a friend.
That's a great tip, Emma. Daily practice doesn't need to be a big activity. Small actions done every day add up quickly. And here's something else: if you can find someone to practice with, like a friend or classmate, it can be really helpful. You both get to practice and learn from each other.
Yes, practicing with someone makes it fun, and it's also less scary. You can share new words with each other, help each other with pronunciation, or even practice conversation together. It's a great way to feel more comfortable speaking English.
And if you don't have a friend to practice with, try talking to yourself in English. It might feel strange at first, but it works. You can describe what you're doing, like, I am making coffee, or talk about your day. Today, I learned new words. It helps to build confidence.
Absolutely. Talking to yourself in English is such a good tip. And one more idea: label things around your home in English. For example, put a note on your refrigerator that says refrigerator. This way, you're seeing English words every day in your real life.
That's a good one, Emma. Those little notes make learning visual, so it sticks in your mind. Another idea is to keep a notebook or use a phone app to write down new words, then review them often. Just a few minutes a day looking at those words will help you remember them.
Yes, and while you review, try to say the words out loud. The more senses you use, like seeing, saying, and hearing, the better you remember. Plus, it helps you practice pronunciation.
All right, let's keep going with more tips. So, Emma, another thing I think is super helpful for learning English faster is focusing on what you enjoy. If you love music, listen to songs in English. If you love cooking, try watching cooking videos in English. When we do things we enjoy, it's easier to learn and remember.
That's a great point, Max. When you're having fun, your brain is more relaxed, and you actually remember things better. Also, when you pick something you like, you're learning words and phrases related to that topic, which makes your vocabulary stronger.
Yes, exactly. And another thing that goes along with this idea is to use English in your hobbies. For example, if you like drawing, you could look up art tutorials in English. Or if you like sports, you could watch sports videos. Even reading simple articles or watching short clips on things you love can teach you a lot.
Oh, definitely. And if you enjoy social media, try following English-speaking creators. Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube have tons of people who post in English. It's a good way to pick up slang and casual phrases, which makes you sound more natural. And you can also learn from captions.
That's a fantastic idea, Emma. Social media makes it easy to practice English with real people, and you can even comment and interact in English. When you try writing small comments, you're practicing without even thinking about it. And the best part, it doesn't feel like studying at all.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the keys to learning faster, finding ways to practice that feel natural. Speaking of natural, another tip is to use English every day, even if you only have a few minutes. I know we touched on this in part 1, but it's so important. Just like with exercise, a little practice each day helps a lot.
Right, Emma, learning a language is like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. And even if you only have 5 or 10 minutes, it still makes a difference. You can listen to a quick podcast, try writing a short journal entry in English, or even go over your vocabulary list.
Yes, and keeping a journal is such a good idea. Even if you write just a sentence or two, it's a great way to practice thinking in English. You could write about what you did today or what you're planning for tomorrow. It's simple, and it helps build fluency without needing a lot of time.
Good point. Plus, writing every day lets you see your progress. You can look back at what you wrote a month ago and realize, wow, I'm getting better. Seeing improvement is so motivating, and it pushes you to keep going.
Absolutely, Max. And speaking of progress, using English apps is another great way to track improvement. There are so many apps now that help you learn English with games, exercises, and quizzes. Some of them even have reminders to help you stay on track.
Yes, and a lot of those apps focus on common words and phrases, so you're learning the most useful parts of English first. And here's something fun you can try with these apps. Set small goals, like I want to reach level 10 by the end of the week. It keeps learning interesting and challenging.
I love that idea. Setting mini goals like that is perfect because it gives you something to work towards. And while you're practicing, don't forget to speak out loud. Even if it's just repeating a word after you learn it, saying things out loud really helps with memory and pronunciation.
Absolutely. Emma, our mouths and tongues need practice too, not just our minds. By saying words, your mouth gets used to the sounds and you feel more confident speaking. It's like training your muscles to move in a new way.
Exactly, Max. And I think that's why practicing pronunciation is so useful, even if you feel shy about it. You could try recording your voice saying a sentence, then listening back to hear how it sounds. It's a good way to notice small things and get used to how English words flow.
Yes, and if you notice any words that feel difficult to say, write them down and practice them. Try breaking them into parts so it feels easier. For example, if a word has many sounds, say it slowly, one part at a time. It helps you feel more comfortable with longer words.
That's a great technique, Max. And here's another one: mirror what you hear. When you listen to English, try to copy the person exactly. It's called shadowing, and it's a powerful tool for learning. You could listen to a sentence in a video and then pause, say it yourself, and compare how close you sound.
Yes, shadowing is so helpful. It makes you more aware of the rhythm and tone of English. And it's okay if it doesn't sound perfect at first, just keep trying. Over time, you'll sound more natural and feel more comfortable with new words and sounds.
I agree, Max. And one more thing about listening. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. It's normal. Even if you only understand 50% or 60%, you're still learning. Your brain is picking up the general meaning and the sounds, which will help you later.
Good point, Emma. Understanding everything isn't the goal. Instead, try to focus on key words and phrases. If you can get the general idea, you're doing great. And remember, it's okay to listen to the same thing more than once. Each time, you'll understand a little bit more.
Yes, repetition is so useful. And while we're on that, another good way to learn quickly is to start using English words instead of translating everything. For example, instead of thinking, "What's the English word for mesa in Spanish?" just remember table directly. It's faster and makes English feel more natural.
Yes, Emma, that's a great one. When you think directly in English, you avoid getting stuck in your native language. It takes practice, but even with simple words, you'll notice that English feels more comfortable over time.
Right, and a simple trick for this is to imagine you're in a situation where you have to speak English only, like at an airport or cafe in English-speaking country. Practice in your mind how you'd order food or ask for help. This pretend practice builds confidence.
I love that. Imagining real situations helps you prepare and feel ready. And it's even better if you say the sentences out loud. For example, "Can I have a coffee, please?" or "Excuse me, where is the restroom?" Practicing these makes it easier to use them in real life.
All right, let's keep building on our ideas. So, Max, another thing I think is important when learning English quickly is to stay curious. Being curious means you're always open to discovering new words, phrases, and expressions. If you see or hear something you don't understand, try to look it up or ask someone. It's a small habit that helps you learn faster.
Absolutely. Emma, curiosity can take you a long way. I think a great way to stay curious is to keep a small notebook or even use a notes app on your phone and write down any new word or phrase you come across during the day. Later, you can look them up and maybe try using them in a sentence.
Yes, and it's not just words. It can be phrases or even grammar points too. If you hear someone say something like, "Could you pass me?" and it's new to you, write it down. Noticing these small things helps you pick up natural language faster. And the more you notice, the more your language skills grow.
Exactly, and I think that's why reading in English can be so powerful. Even if you're just reading a simple article, it's a great way to see how words are used. You could read children's books, news articles, or even comic books, anything that interests you. Reading also helps you see how sentences are put together.
That's so true, Max. Reading is one of the best ways to learn. Plus, when you read, you're learning the words and their meanings without needing to memorize a list. It feels more natural. And if you don't understand something, you can use context clues, the words around it, to guess the meaning.
Yes, and even if you only understand a little, you're still getting a lot of exposure. You could even try reading out loud, which gives you speaking practice too. It might feel slow at first, but over time, you'll notice your reading and speaking skills improve together.
Exactly. Reading out loud is a great idea. Another thing I think is helpful is to create your own examples with new words you learn. Instead of just memorizing apple means manzana in Spanish, think of a sentence like, "I eat an apple every day." It's simple, but it makes the word stick in your mind better.
Yes, creating your own sentences is so powerful. It makes learning personal, which helps you remember. You could even try creating small stories with new words. Let's say you learn dog, run, and park. You could make a sentence like, "The dog runs in the park." Simple stories make vocabulary feel more real.
I love that idea. And speaking of simple stories, a fun tip is to use English when you're thinking to yourself. For example, if you're walking, you could think, "I'm walking to the store." It sounds simple, but thinking in English helps your mind start to use the language naturally.
That's such a great habit, Emma. Thinking in English makes it feel like part of your everyday life. And it's something you can do anywhere, anytime. It's like bringing English into your thoughts, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes to speak naturally.
Exactly, Max. And another helpful habit is watching English movies or TV shows with English subtitles. You get to listen and read at the same time, which helps connect the sounds with the words. Plus, you hear natural conversations and learn phrases people use in real life.
Yes, that's one of my favorites. It's great because you hear accents, intonation, and expressions. If you're watching a show and see a phrase like "what's up," you understand it's a casual way to say "how are you?" Even if you only watch for 10 or 15 minutes, it's a great way to practice.
And if there's a part you like, you can replay it and try repeating what they say. I know we mentioned shadowing before, but with TV shows or movies, you can choose lines you really like and practice them. It's a fun way to get more comfortable with pronunciation.
That's true, and while we're on this topic, remember that listening can be more than just words. Pay attention to how people move their mouths, their expressions, and even their gestures. It helps you understand how people communicate, which makes your English sound more natural.
Yes, communication is about more than just words. Watching body language helps you understand the emotions behind what people say. And another thing that's helpful for learning English quickly is connecting words to feelings. If you're learning the word happy, think of a happy memory. When you attach a feeling to a word, it's easier to remember.
Great point, Emma. Our brains remember emotions and feelings better than plain words. And for another tip, try setting up small challenges for yourself. For example, you could decide to use 3 new words each day. It makes learning a bit like a game and keeps things interesting.
That's a great idea. Little challenges keep you motivated and give you something to aim for. And it's nice to reward yourself too. For example, if you successfully use 3 new words in a day, give yourself a treat. It makes learning feel good, and you'll look forward to it.
Absolutely. Rewards work wonders. And here's another idea that helps with vocabulary. Try organizing words into categories like foods, animals, or emotions. When you group words, it's easier to remember them because your brain connects similar ideas together.
Yes, categorizing words is helpful. It's like building a mental map. And to make it even better, you can create mind maps with drawings. For example, if your category is fruits, you could draw an apple, banana, and orange with their English names. The images help you remember the words.
That's a great technique, and speaking of fun learning, try using games to practice. There are so many language games online, or even simple ones like crosswords or word searches. It doesn't feel like studying, but you're actually learning and improving your vocabulary.
Exactly. Games keep learning light and fun. And another idea is to practice with online communities or language exchange apps where you can chat with people who are learning English or even native speakers. It's a great way to practice speaking and learn new things.
Yes, language exchanges are fantastic because they give you real conversations. Plus, you can also help someone else with their language, which makes it a nice exchange. And if you're not ready for a full conversation, you can start with short messages or comments. Every little bit of practice counts.
Exactly, Max. And don't be afraid to ask questions. If you're talking to someone and don't understand a word or phrase, just ask. Most people are happy to help. And when you understand something new, it feels great and helps you learn faster.
Yes, learning is all about asking questions. And remember, it's okay to take things slow. Learning a language doesn't have to be perfect. Just by listening, speaking, reading, and being curious, you're getting better every day. The journey is part of the learning.
Exactly, Max. And for everyone listening, remember that you're making amazing progress, even if it feels slow at times. Be proud of every small step you take, and don't forget, learning a new language is a big achievement. You're doing something incredible.
That's right, so keep going, keep exploring, and keep practicing a little every day. Each word, each sentence, each conversation brings you closer to fluency. And just remember, we're here to cheer you on.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope these tips help you learn English faster and have fun with it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more helpful content. If you found this podcast useful, please share it with your friends and family.
Take care, everyone, and happy learning. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, keep practicing, and stay curious.